Hello everybody, Garage Night again. Welcome to episode 11. You notice I'm wearing overalls.
She is officially a mechanic. Look at that.
I got tired of mucking up my decent clothes.
So while I was working today, I was talking with a few different friends, and I think I found a local source for rebuilding the box here. It's a retired gentleman. He's done it. That was his career, was rebuilding this kind of stuff, and he does it a bit at home in his garage. So I'll drop it off to him. He's going to have a look to make sure it's in fact rebuildable. He says they are pretty robust, so quite likely just needs the basics. But my main concern is getting all the play out. So we'll pop this pitman arm off, and then probably the hose, and then hope maybe tomorrow I'll bring it in. Drop it off. Gotta love the torque.
Maybe.
So tonight's video is probably going to be just a hodgepodge of a bunch of little jobs. Well, I think they're little jobs, so I might have run into difficulties because this baby's been testing us so far. I'm going to pull off that back brake line that I said I was going to do yesterday, but we just ran out of time. I'm going to see if it is plugged, if that is in fact the case. Otherwise, we'll probably disconnect the front of the brakes and blow out the brake line, and you'll see what the problem is. The brake lines physically look fine, the steel lines. So we'll do that, and then we're going to drop the gas tank out and disconnect that and have a look inside, take the sender out and see how bad it is. I don't believe you can get gas tanks for these cars. It's quite a different looking gas tank. Like it's behind an access panel on the driver's side rear wheel well, so it's sort of vertical shaped, going up and down as opposed to your typical horizontal behind the bumper. Anyway, we'll pop that out and see what it looks like inside, and then we might do a few other odds and ends. Okay, so here's what we think might be the culprit. It looks good on the outside. It's not all cracked, but they do degrade on the inside. So this is the one, and I just cracked this loose. This will be fine. The other end's attached to the steel brake line and looks like to be the original. And what they do is they like to twist and rust and not work to come off. So I'm going to undo this end. I'm going to twist this thing probably all the heck, and then I'll use vice grips to try and get this end. And if I turn the line end, it's just wanting to round the bolt, and that's pretty typical. Okay, and working down here, I noticed this one brake line on the driver's side rear axle. It got pinched there, so it probably blocked half of that. I don't think that's our bleed problem because the other side wouldn't bleed either, so this only feeds the one side. So we're going to pop that off and put a new one there as well while we're here. Okay, so we got that little pinch brake line out. I don't have anything. I bought probably 6 or 8 or 10 of them over there, but they're all too long. I could spend 20 minutes cutting it and reflaring it and stuff, or tomorrow I'll just get the proper one, spend a few bucks and just bolt it in and not waste my time. So for now, we'll get these back shocks out, and then we're going to move on to the gas tank. Well, there it goes. Well, Shauna just asked me if these are going to be as easy to get off as those front ones. So those front ones are a bit of a bear, but these are all wide open. I can even get this big gun in there and do the nuts, so easy peasy. Well, that's it. Shocks are off. Easy peasy. We got to have something easy. That probably took about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. But bye-bye.
On to the gas tank.
Gas tank. Okay, we got a few little 5/16 screws holding this panel in. It should come out pretty easy as long as I can get a grip on the head. They're pretty shallow heads on them. That'd be a no.
Oh no.
I think this might be a case for a manual ratchet and a wrench. Okay, so this car is fighting me here. These are really shallow bolts. You can see that. There's not a lot of meat there to grip. So there's one here and one here that's left, and it doesn't seem, if you look on typical of a socket, it tapers in a bit more. So what I'm going to do is grind the end of this to take the taper off, and that'll give me a little more socket to grab this with, and hopefully we can pop them out. I mean, they're just screws, so if you can grab them, they come out pretty easy, but you know, nothing's got to be easy, right? Okay, you can see I just took 2 seconds to ground this here flat. So the taper is gone on the socket, and hopefully it'll give me a little more bite on this, because we're not much to work with here. That one's just not going to cooperate. The two up top here came off real easy. Thinking maybe because they're higher up, there's less corrosion on them. But yeah, it's just nothing. So I'll have to use other methods, I guess. Managed to get a bite of this head here. Whacked it with a hammer to loosen the threads. I mean, it's only a screw thread, so it's not like there's a lot holding it there. But anyway, wax with the hammer worked wonders. So this should be ready to come out and expose all the spiders and rats and gas tank. Yeah. That's kind of a unique setup, obviously for a wagon only, so I couldn't imagine they would reproduce this tank. And it's so heavily undercoated on the outside. It's in good shape that way. The only question would be how rusty it is from the inside out, but we'll pop it out, have a look. If it is really rusty, we'll just, what we usually do is put some gravel or some rocks in there, swish it all around to break off the loose rust, and then you can buy gas tank resealing kits, or there are places that'll reseal it for you, but you know, if we can do it ourselves, save a buck, then I can take Sean out for dinner. Okay, another reason to go through your car is this right here. You see the rubber hose, it's got a big hole in it. And if you were to run this car, that would just be spewing gas out like a sprinkler. So lots to replace, but I mean, obviously that's cheap and easy to do, so. Okay, so we just give this a cut. It's rock hard, as you'd expect. Probably original, because it's got the original style clamps on it. So I took the ground strap off. We saved that for reuse. Now I'll just take that clamp off, and then easiest way for this is just run it down the side, and should pop right off. There we go. Ooh, look how shiny that is, eh? That's the shiniest part on the car. And then for the cinder here, so all we got left is one strap. I've been spraying it for a week now. I'll put the gun on there, or the ratchet, and this whole mess should pop down, or probably come forward, I guess. So we'll see. Okay, I think I'll try the gentle approach here and just do it by hand rather than shock it with the gun. So, okay, well, it came loose. Now the only other thing is, I'm not sure how much fuel is in there, and if it's like a half a tank, that thing's gonna fall like a rock. So, I don't know what to do.
It sounds like it's empty, but...
Think so?
Doesn't it?
Kind of does.
Sounds pretty hollow.
Is there more than one strap? I don't think so. Doesn't seem to be loose at all. Okay. The nut is out. I think I'll pry. I need a screwdriver over here. Okay, I don't think this is the right cap. It doesn't seem to come on and off too easy. It's like it doesn't fit or something. But anyway, you can see what we're up against there. 3 screws and 3 bolts. It's still going to have to exit the tank, so we might have to wrestle that around to get it, the tube out of the tank itself. And hopefully these come easy. The bolts look like they should be good because they're fairly clean. Anyway. Okay, all screws are good, so. Okay, so the tank is kind of stuffed up there, and then of course on this back corner, you get the tube coming down. So we've unbolted the tube, and the tube's got to come out this way, but it's still stuck in the tank. So we're going to take the taillight off and see if that gives us any access to there, so we can remove the tube from the tank. Actually, before I do that, I'll have another look, make sure it's not double walled, because then this will just be a waste of time. Okay, so we got the strap off, and we couldn't. It was still stuck in there pretty good, but all it was the little pipe stuck in the hole here. So I just had to wiggle it down. Here it is. Right, it's just a little baby thing. So I just had to wiggle it down, then it fell down. It's gonna need a new one of these. I'm sure these are pretty universal to all tanks. And I'm gonna shine a light in there now and have a look at what's inside. But Shauna's gonna show you where the tank was. It's kind of a little pocket there.
You can see this here. Area right there is where the filler neck, is that correct? Do you call that the filler neck?
The hole there, yeah.
Yeah, the hole.
Yeah. Okay, well, the tank doesn't look bad inside. It's more a bunch of gunk than rust, so I'm quite confident that this tank will be good. I think if we poured some kind of solution in there and then swished it around, I think we'll be fine. Doesn't look like any scaling or rust, so just a bunch of sediment on the bottom, probably inch of old gas, and I see an old spout from a gas can in there. It's probably been in there for 50 years. But it is completely empty as far as liquid goes.
Maybe lift it up and show them what the condition of the tank looks like.
Let's see if you can see it from here, Shauna. I'm not sure. Or actually, just hang on. I'll take the sending unit out and then I'll shine the light and you can film from here.
Okay.
Okay, to get the sending unit out, there's a little lock ring here. You just tap it with a chisel. You can get it to stick on there. I mean, this part's pretty universal. All gas tanks, or all the old Chrysler ones, are like that. So, pop the ring off, a lock ring, and then this will come out. It's probably stuck on there pretty good. And there should be a rubber gasket in there. Oh yeah, it is. It's just petrified. Kind of a unique sending unit for the wagon. Look how long it is. They're usually not anywhere near like this. You know, they're usually about this long. But luckily, it looks to be in good shape because I got to think that would be impossible to find. I mean, they're not going to make new ones just because of the low production. So this is all good news. And I'll test this float, and if the float's bad, that'll be universal. We can just pop off another one. And then there's a little rheostat inside here that I might have to clean or something. So there's 2 little tabs here, and then this cover comes off, and we'll have a look and see if it's any good. But that's it there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to shine a light in from the one end. And then Shauna's going to show you from the other end, and maybe you can get an idea what the tank looks like inside. I'm actually quite impressed because, to my knowledge, they don't reproduce this tank. And so it would have been a tough go to do. So anyway, if Shauna can see in there.
Yeah. Okay, just hold it still. I'll move myself.
So you can see all the sediment on the bottom. And then that old...
that brown thing is the funnel from a gas can.
Yeah, the gas can tube. And so it looks like the bottom, inch or two is just covered in goo and old gas stuff. So maybe what we'll do tonight is put some kind of thinner or something in there and maybe try and dissolve it. But the rest of the tank is really clean inside. There's no flaky rust at all. So this is definitely a win for us for an unobtainium part. I was just wondering what anybody out there in viewer land would recommend to dissolve the old varnish. What kind of mineral spirits or paint thinner or what? Probably got to pour about an inch on the bottom of the tank. So just curious what everybody suggests as far as cleaning up the old dried up gasoline out. Maybe put it in the comments. Okay, I think we'll call that enough for tonight. Last night's video and editing, we were up to almost 1 o'clock putting it in, and of course, working during the day. So my homework today, or for tonight, will be to take the steering box and drop it off at my friend's place to get that ball rolling. And then I'm going to pick up a brake line, and maybe I'll order, see if there's any local shocks for the rear of the car. Maybe get some KYBs to match the front or something. Yeah, and then we got, I'm happy about this gas tank. It's in really good shape, and I'm almost guaranteed that's unobtainium to get, because it'd be wagon only, and these cars between 6-passenger and 9-passenger, they only made about 3,000 of them. So, and that was 60 years ago. So, not likely to be reproduction. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never checked, but our gas tank and our sender are in excellent shape. So we'll just do a bit of cleaning. But that'll be it for tonight. So have a good night.
Thanks all. Good night.